Hello, I'm off on a slow stitching adventure on this piece of fabric that I found on a bolt in Hobby Lobby, and they are stitched together. I dug about and found this old frame that I had for the purpose of sharing my process with you in a way that you could see it. All this is a round dowel here that I can tighten up to pull the tension a little bit. And I have to admit that a holdover from my years of stitchery, I like to have things on a frame, but there is absolutely no reason why this could not be done in your hands. So I took this piece of 9 by 12 and made some markings up here in the approximate area to give me an idea of my boundaries for this cover. That was my first step. Then I ran a piece of thread up through the center so I would have an idea. I could focus on this being the fold of the book, and then I cut out. I went into my my trove of crocheted pieces, and I cut out these 1, 2 here, and 3 of the smaller ones that were in this also, and I cut off a piece of this that I just thought might be fun to have here, or not. So now I'm going to start to just put things down so that I have an idea of where they might go. I'm not ready to do any gluing yet. In fact, I might not do any at all, but there again, I have to drag myself into the modern world and realize that it does help situations very nicely. And having this fabric a little bit taut makes this step fairly easy. Let me get this one over here. And this smaller one is on top. Let me do one here, and one more here. This maybe here, and now to the stems and greenery. The only thing I have purchased for this slow stitching is disappearing ink at Joann, and this is air and water soluble. And I'm just going to, in a few days, this would disappear. But this is just to give me an idea of where I'm going to be. Now I'm thinking I want to run some stems here and one to this clump. Let's start doing that. Just going to sketch this on, and into here, and then if I feel that I'm finishing this line over here, it would go up and around and come out up there and skip over to the back right there. A starting point. I do hope you're able to see that. I'll zero in a little bit. Okay, there it is. And here. Now was wondering if I mightn't just lay some of this down underneath this. Well, what's pinned down can be picked up, so that's a possibility. Oh, here's one just waiting to play. Maybe. Now, I thought I would make some leaves. I have this piece of ribbon from, there again, from Joann, years and years ago. And they make wonderful, and it makes wonderful leaves because it can be painted on, it can be stitched on, and let's see about doing some. No, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to save that till later. Sorry about that. I'm just going to cut some leaf shapes out of that. That's all I'm going to do there. And now I want to set some this is just a pair of magnets so that I can put my needle and stuff there. Okay, I want to set some green on here to set the image in my mind, to give me a basis. Okay, I need to have my needle threader handy. And let's see about this this needle. Yes, it's got a sharp point and a long needle point eye for the stitching. I've gotten out my trove of greens, and in this case, just as a marker to set down the idea of green. I don't think I'm going to use the I just don't think I'm going to use the better stuff for that, since this is just a marker. Let's see what I can do with some floss. It does come in handy. Don't want that too bright. Not green enough. That one's a definite maybe. You'd think I'd be able to suit myself here. The black labels are oldies, but let's have a little of that one. Alrighty. Now, this is a pull skein or not, and I'm using DMC number 3346. In case I get it lost and forget, I'm going to do a trick here. I'm going to put the thread through this with a sample and the number. Okay, so you get the idea. I'll get back to that later. Now, let's pull some floss. I want a nice long piece. I would not use that usually for serious stitching, but slow stitching is all about enjoying and relaxing and having some fun and putting down the marker for stems. So, alrighty. Now, it's not necessary for you to do this at all, but I am separating the individual threads, and if you hold them up at the tip like this and tease them, they'll pull out, and then I'm going to put them back together so that when I put them down, they will, I can make them lie next to each other, which is called railroading. And this is just literally a holdover from my stitching days, and I just can't help myself. Okay, gather this bunch together. Okay, pull up the shorties. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, that's not going to go through. But it will go through here. I'm using a regular pair of scissors. And there we go. Put the threads on the meat of my pointer finger, cross it with the needle, wrap the thread a few times, hold it firmly but gently so that you can run the threads through, and perfect knot every time. So let's start down here, and I'm going to go a distance because this is just a marker. Move this over a little bit so that I come under it. Over here. Come back under it. And this one goes up here. Come back under. And we'll just put down the idea of the stem. This is probably going to be covered with other things. It could be covered with ribbon. It could have layers of other colors added to it. And get this out of the way. Just stepping back a little bit underneath along that line. And up under here. Oops, don't like that one. Let me loosen it a little bit. Got a little bit carried away there. All right. Now, I'm just going to come back right next to it and do an up and a down. And close to it, I'll do another up and down. And that will be that. Because, and come up so that I don't have to turn my frame. Come up close to it and cut it off. So, the idea of that flower stem is here. If I don't like what's happening there, I can always move that a little bit. It's the joy of do-it-yourself slow stitching. And now some more. I want to get this one and that one down because I want to try to get to thinking about those leaves today. Okie dokie. I'm going to do a nice long one this time because I'm a lazy girl. Needle pointing, if you ever took a thread that was more than 18 inches, you were drummed out of the core. So I'm going to put this stem here, and this one that would come up here, over to here, and maybe some more on this side, and I'm going to completely eyeball that, and I'll be back when I have this very basic stem idea down. You don't need to watch that me repeat myself a dozen times. Well, now I'm starting to see the bones. I've got my stems on. This is the center. This is the center of where the cover will fold. I do like the idea of the underpinnings in cheesecloth, but of course that's too much. But still, it's there for the time being. Now it's time to think leaves. So, here we go. I'm going to just chop off a piece here, and let's see what we can make. Size, I'm not sure at all about any of it. So, these will be practice bits. I think that's not too bad size-wise. Okay, let's try to make one now. It doesn't look like it lost a war. Need some smaller ones. I need some smaller ones to tuck here. Let's have them. Let's just have them. Let's do another smaller one here. And of course, these leaves are absolutely allowed to overlap. In fact, they almost have to. Now let's have a real nice size leaf here. Let's have one for here. And they're white because I haven't decided whether or not they're going to stay white. They probably will. But this fabric, it almost looks like, if I didn't know any better, I would think it was, I would almost think it was taffeta, heavyweight taffeta. But there again, I've had it for quite a while. And let's have one more. Here, and one up here. Here. Here, right Now we need something here and up here. Let's have another chop. I have done so many things with this fabric because I've done watercolor on it. And it takes it wonderfully. As I said, it's something that can be, oh, that's the top. Okay, toppers allowed. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's just check it. There we go. Don't like it. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. One more. This one has to be here. This one is going to be here. I'm not happy with that at all. Therefore, it gets made smaller. Smaller it is. And that can be over the fold, that's fine. One more here, and I'll stop this because I think you have the idea. Of Carol playing at slow stitching. The idea, the underlined idea, play and experiment. Generally have fun. So, what I'm thinking of doing to get these under control is I'm going to put some veins on the leaves just as a starter idea. Now this is an ongoing project, as you can tell. I have no idea where this is going or how it's going to get there, but I'm plunging. I have one strand this time of DMC, and it's number 3347. 33, oh goodness, how could I have picked that and known it? These are the old ones. The original one here is 3346, and I picked 3347. Oh well, isn't that a miracle in the making? Okay. Now, I want to think getting that first shot in here, getting that needle through when it's fighting me. There it is. I win. Okay. Now this is just going to be, again, the same thing that I did on the stems, only this is with a single strand, just really to tie this down and give the concept of the veining in a leaf. Here we go. Back a little bit, right underneath where the previous stitch is. And there again. The fun here is that this is not trying to be rocket science. This is having fun, creating a vein in a leaf, also for the purpose of holding it down. There we go. And one more down here. And down there. And over here. Now I'm going to seriously think about doing some gluing. Yes, I am. And it's going to really, really not be easy to do, but the last thing I think I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to skinny down that pile of cheesecloth there and tack it down. Use a little glue first, and then I'm sure that it won't suit me, so I'll use a single strand of pink floss to tack it in place. Alrighty, this job is done. Now, under ordinary circumstances, if this was not on the video, I would go right over to this one and continue, but I'm literally going to let that thread hang back here. Now, let's talk to, in fact, let me use my pins here. I know you're saying to yourself, now Carol, I'm going to put this pin in approximately where that center vein would be, because there'll be a hole in the fabric. And you're saying to yourself, Carol, glue, glue. And yes, I understand. However, it's a little tricky to teach old dogs new tricks sometimes. I promise I'm going to use some glue, the cheesecloth. Yes, I am. Whoopsie daisy, well, you need to come off there anyhow. That's okay. Now, let's lighten the load a little bit here. I can always put some back. Let me just kind of take about a third of that off. I have this big piece. Yes. So I'm trying to make an imaginary circle here, and I put that down, pull it in, well, that doesn't look so crazy. Let me go back a little bit so you can get the full picture. That's coming along. That's better. 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 Look at me trying to pick it up and put it down the same way. Alrighty. Fabri-Tac, here we go. Come on, come on. And yes, I have my go-to there. All right, let's see what happens now. Oh my Lord. Oops. Well, it's all right. I can pull that in with thread. Let's see what happens. One, two, three. Maybe that one and that way. Let me get closer and have a little look-see here. Alrighty. I still want to tack around the outside of this. One strand. Come on. Here it is. Hold that end and nothing will ever happen, except that one strand will come out and the rest will be fine. If I wanted to be two strands, I can always just pull this tail down. Now, pull in these edges a little bit. Let me give them a pull in. No, Carol. Tacking, not stitching. Tiny, tiny little stitches are tacks. Tiny babies are tacks. Right here. Almost down in the same place. And the pink will never show. Shape this other side. This side is doing pretty well. This bit needs a shaping. Let me get this tightened in right here. And moving right along here. See about that bit right there. Down it goes. This right here, it might be glued, but now I know that it's not going to pop up. And right down here, and we're finished with this. And then I'm going to reattach with pins those three. Oops, I run into some glue. I'm going to reattach those second layers. Just keep going up and down a couple of times because this is certainly not going to be seen. Up, down, and up, and done. Now, pins again. And yes, I'm probably going to glue those. When I get over the modern world a little bit here, I will definitely take advantage of Fabri-Tac. So, I'm going to be working on these bits that are pinned and ready. Whoops, let's not do that, Carol. It's the center vein. Here we go. And one more. I had been wanting to do some stitching, and then I discovered this slow stitching. And I thought, yes, I think so. I do hope that you have enjoyed sharing this novel experience with me, not the stitching part, but the doing and thinking out of the box and having fun. Let me say that you certainly do not need one of these. A dark pencil will do, except of course it's not going to disappear on you, but you're going to be stitching on top of it, so why not? I'm quite happy with this section down here. This looks nice. These are starting to work for me. I think I'll be back playing some more. If you have enjoyed watching this, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share if you would like, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. More slow stitching coming up. Bye now.